is the CEO and co-founder of Accordant Media. It's an independent, tech-driven programmatic media company. And what you need to know about Art is he comes from the agency world, originally Aegis, and then the early years at Avenue A Razorfish. And then Oleg Kornfeld, the EVP of Ad Tech and Platforms at MediaVest Spark. Yeah. So one of the data tech and innovation leads across Publicis Media Group. And also a long timer in the business, DoubleClick, Right Media, Jump Tap, as well as, who remembers Community Connect? Okay, all right, that's street cred right there. All right, Havas Media Group, Hussein Husani, the global head of programmatic solutions. All right, supporting the commercial data and product teams in the group. A number of years at IPG Media Brands, putting MAP and Cadreon in Germany, Australia, and Switzerland, and also some time logged at DoubleClick. All right, Mac Delaney, a famous programmatic panelist, head of programmatic at Merkle. So that's all about Merkle One. And prior to joining Merkle recently, SVP of programmatic for Starcom MediaVest Group. So early leader at Viviki. And then here's some street cred, 24/7, Yahoo, Microsoft, Federated Media, and wait for it, Fox Interactive. Okay, and then the anchor on the end, batting cleanup, Paul Dalton, Chief Media Officer, International Digitas LBI. People must know you in the New York and London airports because you've lived both places and just seem to go back and forth. Before working out of the London office, Paul was EVP of Comms Planning at Digitas LBI in New York. And prior to Digitas, 11 years at Zenith, and named an agency innovator by the Internationalists. Okay. So, Paul, I'm going to start with you. We're just going to do a fun question just to get everybody in the mood. And if you owned a yacht, you could pick any one. If you owned a yacht, what would you name it? So just the name, and we're going to work back down towards me down here.
Mr. Small.
Mr. Small. All right. Thank you. Mac Delaney.
The Jenny, after my wife. Get him on your side early.
Yeah.
Mine is very similar. After my 1-year-old daughter, Morgan.
Like
Death to cookies.
All right, how about the RTC? After RTB, we escape on the RTC.
All right, very good. My yacht would be called the Millisecond. And I thought about calling it the Walled Garden, but then I wouldn't want to get on it. All right. So, big trends. Oleg, I want to start with you. When we spoke the other day, we talked a lot about orders, the private deals, and auctions coming together. And maybe some of this is tech. A lot of this is organizational. And the idea that we've all been chasing about watching reach and frequency through one lens. So tell us about that and the efforts you're working on to finally bring us there.
All right. I mean, we continue to buy at every kind of step of that supply waterfall, whether it's direct, whether it's private marketplaces, header bidding, open exchanges. The core purpose to programmatic and to precision targeting remains the same, understanding how much media you're exposing to any one pre-identified user. So setting up a process and leveraging technologies that are available and asking tech companies to complete those technologies to help us understand that waterfall and how often and where do I hit that user, whether it's direct or indirect, is at this point is a must.
And what do you have to do still within Publicis from an organizational structure to bring that home?
I think it's, well, one, selling it to clients and making sure they understand why we're doing this, and showing them the value, the media saving, the immediate media savings that you realize just by deduplicating that or that same user across any kind of activation you're doing, and then lining up the right technologies that are open enough to help you build that, because no one tech can do it all. Understand the user, pre-qualify it, and activate it in the most direct way to a publisher, because a lot of it has to do with how far away are you from a publisher and what incentive are you giving them, what CPM are they seeing after everybody takes their cut, and where do they place you. So I think those two things.
Okay. So what I'm really getting after there is there's still silos in the business, and I want to go to another one. And Art, you and I talked about this, about managing user-level data to unlock cross-channel, cross-media, and attribution. We talked a lot about siloed media. So what's next there? How are we going to get better at that?
Well, I think that actually builds off of what Oleg was just talking about. We're really focusing on, how to make audience engagement more efficient and successful for marketers, and we really find that it's down at the user level of the data that can create innovation across channels and across devices. And so, part of the system that we work on, enables us to activate media across 9 channels. But for a marketer, they want to know, how are we really creating a stronger, more efficient engagement with their ultimate audience. And so at the audience segmentation level, you can get deeper into the user level and then unlock these devices and channels into graphs and that such. So I think that's a really big theme for us and many in the industry right now, to help marketers know who they're reaching and how and why at the user level.
Okay, and another kind of silo theme, Hussein, when we spoke, we talked about the creative agencies and creative maybe being afraid they might lose business depending on some of the changes coming, but the big ones building media departments, media agencies building creative. So what's happening there? Give us your crystal ball.
Well, we're trying to build this bridge between creative and media now for like how many years, right? So with this rise of programmatic and being able to identify audiences and having audiences as a currency, we need to make sure, because in finding the audience, even as on the user level, to find them across channels, across devices, and the consumer decision journey, we need to make sure that he gets the right message, right? And the message doesn't mean just text, or it can be emotional data, it can be anything, which needs to be planned. Today, creative agencies get the brief from the marketer, and then the media agency gets the brief from the marketer, and then they create. And then we're supposed to deliver, instead of sitting on one table and building a decision tree together and then create, and as well as we have the responsibility as an agency to report back to the creative agency, because they're interested in bounce rates, engagement rates, because that's where the business is going to, right?
So
because
how does that silo get addressed, though? That's what I'm wondering.
So the creative agencies, partially still are not there. I mean, it really depends on the region. I'm just talking about Europe right now. Might be different in the U.S., but from a dynamic content perspective, they're not there yet, right? So I don't know how you see it, but
I would say it's not always there. You're right, but it is almost like a negotiation. Which part of the creative you're responsible for, and if the creative shop designs the framework, and you're saying, okay, here's the 3 spots that will change depending on who the audience that I'm showing, whether the message will change or the color will change, whatever that is, you building that together with them. So we've had a lot of that experience over the last year or so, and it's communication and kind of saying the creative is responsible for making it look right. We're responsible for the content that goes into it.
Okay, good. I want to change topics. Paul, when we spoke, you talked a lot about brand-specific media trading technologies and some things that are going to change there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so obviously in the marketplace there are a broad range of options that clients can choose to employ. Each of those technologies and platforms have an algorithm that powers it that has often a computational bias that favors the owner of the platform, of the technology. and I don't think it's always set up for clients' best interests. So I think what we're going to see a rise of is clients taking control of some of the technologies that they use, bringing them in-house so that they feel comfortable utilising their data to its fullest extent, and where the technology and decisioning is governed by what's important to the client versus what's important to the technology platform owner.
Okay, and on this in terms of just marketers riding shotgun, being a little more activist, so.
Yeah, I'd go in two different directions on that. I think that a big trend right now is that marketers are more sophisticated than ever internally. They've got really smart teams. We in the ad tech ecosystem have created many different types of point solutions that are very valid and a very valid reason to call a marketer with a great idea for them. But we create a lot of complexity as well. And so I really believe that for many marketers who've had an agency experience where they're sitting in the back seat, they really want to ride shotgun. They don't necessarily wish to get involved in all of the minutia and the complexity that the ad tech system brings them, but they want more access, more control, and more accountability into how their marketing investments are being spent. So I think that it's really creating a way to empower and enable a marketer to feel that they're more of a collaborative part of the solution, and so that's a big trend for us.
Okay, and Mac, tied to this, we talked about mass SaaS adoption, self-service, and we've been talking about this for a long time. So are we really ready, and is the workforce ready, and what's everybody doing to get ready?
So we're not ready. You've got to sort of take a step back and just let me finish. We're not ready in the sense that mass scale adoption of these self-serve platforms, they have not been pressure tested by thousands and thousands and thousands of users. So I think every platform, whether you're Google DBM or a startup pure play DSP and display, is going to have to go through another round at least of refining the tech to ensure it's dummy proof, right? You're going to have a lot of folks driving tech that are going to make mistakes. And those mistakes are not $5,000 mistakes. Those are $100,000 mistakes. So I think that has been something that folks could manage on a much smaller scale. But if you think of an entire agency driving a platform with a complexity level that is 10x what buying search is in a search platform, I think the tech needs to go through another round. We'll see that. I don't know if to answer your question, I don't know if folks are thinking about that yet. I think you have to go through some pain first to experience that, and I think folks are maybe feeling some of that.
Go ahead.
I can slightly disagree with that premise. I think we are ready from the standpoint, we know the technologies needs to evolve, but taking the managed service arbitrage out of the equation, I think makes up for potential pitfalls and mistakes. So I am completely, I believe today we are ready to take it on with the tech that we have available, but it's our responsibility to keep evolving it and keep pushing it forward.
So the CFO has set aside a $5 million make-good budget?
Working on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. So, but that goes back to the question of who you're hiring to make sure that the make-goods are not $5 million and less. But we're managing it the same way, and that work good.
Hussein, let me ask you to talk about workforce readiness and what you're doing at Havas to train a worldwide employee base.
So, I mean, we all know that this business and digital and, with programmatic has a huge lack of talent. When I started this business, and most of these young people on the rooftop here, it was a joke, started actually using an ad server, right? And they know how to use an ad server, they know the mythology, and if you understand how an ad server works, very simple, 0-1 request response, you use that, and or you worked in tech support before, like I did when I started this business. Actually, it's very easy to understand this business, but everybody who comes in now studied this, university, blah 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 blah, and you just see it on a slide. You have to understand it. So in Havas, we know, and we're not the biggest agency network, and we know that we need to transform this agency into full programmatic agency. So we launched just Havas University, where where we give education, where we do one-to-one trainings, which we offer to our clients as well, and where we as well track the performance of the knowledge that is learned, which we need to, because there are so many great people, and there are so many great people that don't have a voice, and in this business, you don't necessarily need a voice to be great in programmatic or in general. So we invest a lot in that right now.
Okay, great. When I talked to all these guys working up to today, I also asked them what topic was overblown. What topic are they just sick and tired of hearing about? Just because we're going to still talk about it for a few minutes. Yes, that would be one. Mac, maybe I'll start with you. What you told me, we talked about viewability, and you said, quote, "I could not disagree more with Group M's stance. It is crippling our ability to execute." So give it to us.
Thank you for softening that, Jay.
You softened them before. I'm trying to get back to equilibrium.
In the real world, at the speed of business, demanding 100% viewability doesn't work. And the theme that I see increasing every day is a spirit of collaboration and partnership, a true understanding of how a publisher has to monetize yield, what's on their mind when it comes to sharing their data. And the marketers who are leaning in and understanding that are those that are going to make a heck of a lot more progress, driving towards a real people-based marketing world. I think it's a miss if you want to take the tonnage of your big media spend and apply the same principles of old media, which is our job is to beat you down and get cheap CPMs. Now here comes viewability, and that's the same. I think you're going to see a fracturing happen, and I think the progress is going to be on the side of the true collaborators.
Got it. And Paul, I want you to comment on this too, because you told me you've seen sites that have lower viewability but much better sales performance. So what kind of conversations do you have with the customer about this?
Yeah, so when the Group M positioning came out, we were asked by our clients to comment on it, and when we looked back through the history of our campaigns that we manage, there's not much of a correlation between those that have 100% viewability or close to and their ability to drive sales. Often it's different factors within the site and the property that make it a better driver of the end result we're looking for. So we said if we were to go with 100%, we would lose strong performers, strong business drivers, and we didn't think that was a smart thing to do.
Good. Oleg, I know we spoke about viewability. I want you to talk about ad blocking. You told me I have not seen one campaign under-deliver. So and follow that
Just
line.
want to make sure, is ad blocking still a thing? We still care about that. The reason why I ask is because I've looked, and you read in the press, and millennial males blocking ads all over the place. I have not seen one campaign target any particular target, including millennial males, that under-delivered. That means blockers are not, it's a critical message, right? If your campaigns are delivering and hitting your goals, that means the blockers are not really affecting you yet. I'm not saying that the point is meaningless. It is important for publishers to reevaluate why people are blocking ads, and reevaluate how ads are positioned on their pages and how many ads are on their pages and where they pop up. That is important. But to us, when we're thinking about issues that are overblown and not really affecting our business today, I just don't see ad blocking affecting our business today.
Well, but on the other side, I totally agree with ad block. That is partially overblown, but it gives us a sign that we need to change something in content, right? Content, the message was not here, okay, we're going to lose money. Although last year, obviously, we lost 20 billion in it, and this year's estimate on 40 billion. I haven't seen anything underperform as well. But it's still a message that we need to work across the chain with the creative, with the media, with the publisher as well. Again, the publisher has a lot of work to do on, there's websites that are not mobile conform, the data that is collected on the publisher side, which they can offer. I mean, Germany has some initiatives right now where they want to go against the walled gardens, bring more value to us as a media agency. But, we need to message right. Millennials perceive media different than we do. We see an ad, right? They are focused more on people who have an opinion, right? So advertising is changing for that generation, and we need to be ready for that, right? So we need to have that conversation. So if topics like adblock come up, we just need to read the sign, because it's not just about adblock; it's a bigger thing. So
Change the topic again, keep moving, and talk about kind of a percent of spend of overall spend that runs through automated or programmatic channels. And just give me what you can, but maybe Paul, current state, of every dollar or euro, what percentage can you send down the automated pipes?
I'd say it's different by market. It probably ranges from somewhere close to 70% at the high end and probably 20% at the low end in some of the Asian markets where we're still developing.
Okay, Mac?
As a performance marketing agency, we're on the high end. We're around 70%.
Okay, Hussein?
around, I would say, we are pushing against the 50, and it really depends on the market as well. I mean, if you look at Asia, towards what is available in inventory and what can be optimized, but it will definitely grow.
I don't think I have a specific number, because I guess our portfolio just ranges so much from DR kind of marketers that are, some of them actually 100% programmatic at this point, which is on one hand scary, on the other hand is amazing, and some marketers are 100% not programmatic, because most of the stuff that they do is so custom, so integrated, that just we haven't been able to automate that element of it yet.
All right, and Art?
Yeah, average among our clients is probably 40 to 60%, but because a lot of our clients are very sort of native digital marketers and performance oriented, it's 80 to 90% for some of those.
Okay, got it. And now let me ask you to do the same thing, and tell me about 2017, however you can characterize it in terms of growth you might expect, in terms of that number. What happens to that percentage number, Paul?
At the top end, we'll probably go 70 to 80. Lower end from 20, probably up to 40, 45, I'd say.
All right, good clip.
Yeah, we're at the high end, so we'll probably see 30%. It will be based on new client wins, as well as I still think there's too much site-specific buying. So I'll throw you a bone here, Rubicon. We can be doing a lot more to automate.
All right, good.
Our focus for 2017 is automation. So it's our job to pitch it in and explain the benefits to the client, and even in new business pitches.
Yeah.
From efficiency and effectiveness part. So it's a full push next year.
Full push.
Same here. It's to Mac's point. It's automation of direct. Anything that is standard enough to be automated should be automated.
Okay, so where we started, direct, indirect, all coming
Exactly.
together.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Over 20% growth organically among these clients.
Okay, great. All right, I have my first yes or no question, which is, do we live in a tale of two cities where Google and Facebook win everything and the rest of us fight over scraps? So we're going to talk about it, but give me a yes or no.
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 All right, yeah. That's it, people. I'm going to stop there. Art, so go with your analogy here. Two big cities with moats. Keep going.
There's a land where people live. Some prefer to live in two cities that have high walls and moats around them, and they think they have a good quality of life. But they know that there are other smaller towns and cities outside of those walls.
Like
Cannes, where there's still happiness and opportunity. And so there's a group of fellow travelers who get outside of the walls now and then and get a little taste of what else is out there, and they are the enlightened ones. And they get a taste of all of the cities at any given time. They're the ones that we look forward to meeting more of.
All right. Art is available for bedtime storytelling after the show. All right. All right. Paul Paul, do you want to comment on this too? You said there are just certain areas companies outside of the Goog and Facebook have just a better ability to service.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're looking for. Obviously, there's different needs across the advertising ecosystem. If it's delivery of advertising, so ad units at scale, both of them obviously do very well. Using data, they both do very well. But if you're focused more on building rich experiences, immersive experiences, I think there are many better offers.
I gotta pile on. When I look at those
Yeah,
two bigs,
and when you do it, I want you to talk about the people-based marketing too.
thank you, Jim. When I look at the two bigs, I think they earn every penny they get. I don't look at them, and I don't talk to a lot of marketers who feel like, I'd really like to be spending less on Google search. It performs, right? YouTube earns every penny that it gets. And so my answer being no is based on the fact that these guys have started people-based marketing in earnest at scale. And this is where things get really interesting. The publisher community 5 years ago that was rightfully so very concerned about data leakage, right, has now come full sort of spectrum and is now comfortable bringing their data into safe environments, what we're calling publisher addressable marketplaces, right, to recognize the same value of that increased relevance. It's going to drive up yield. Everything that Facebook is doing, everything that Google is now doing with customer match. And so I think that forms, once all publishers come online to do that, a bookend to the two bigs.
That's happening right now in Germany with the big publishers. They all have a alliance, where they have a center point, where they overlap their data and they offer that to the agencies. We talked about that, yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, I'm going to change the topic again. Yesterday, the New York Post put a guy by the name of Bob Leodis on page 6. If you don't know who Bob is, he's the CEO of the A&A, and the A&A just put out a barn burner of a report on transparency. And here's what page 6 said yesterday. Bob Leodis may want to think about bringing a food taster with him if he decides this week to attend the Cannes Lions. So, another yes or no question, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Art, maybe I'll start with you, but yes or no? Transparency on media costs, on data, on inventory continues to be a lightning rod issue. Should transparency be a negotiated benefit for the advertiser? Yes or no?
It doesn't need to be negotiated. It should just exist to begin with.
All right, so that's a no.
So yes.
Yes, a negotiated benefit.
Well, yeah, if the client wants to have transparency, should get it, so.
+1 on Art.
Yeah, +2.
Okay. All right. And Paul, why don't you start on the transparency thing? When we talked, you said without full transparency, an agency can't expect to earn long-term trust. So.
Yeah, I think the focus on non-transparent practices has obviously hurt the relationship that agencies enjoy with their clients. I think it was governed and driven by a focus on short-term revenues, and I think that short-termist view is going to hurt in the long run. So, for me, I think transparency is crucial. It's the underpinning to trust, and if we want to maintain, relevancy and profitability and a future in service of our clients, then absolutely transparency.
Mac, what are you hearing from marketers?
What I've been hearing for quite some time is marketers have gotten much more sophisticated, much faster than their agencies. And so, a core tenet of this whole programmatic shift has been this empowerment, right, around transparency and control and choice. So it's table stakes. So you are beyond contrarian if you are still operating an offering that is it's opaque. And so it is it's a decision that a lot of companies in the middle need to make, but it is beyond table stakes in my opinion.
Hussein?
It really depends, right? Transparency can be a tsunami for an advertiser because he doesn't know how to deal with that. You know, if you give, you know, because transparency is not just cost. You know, it's like the way you optimize the segments you use, and he won't understand it if you have a partner in crime like your agency or anybody who's consulting the client. You know how it works. Why not? You know, but you know, in order to do that, to bring transparency, we need to overthink. You know, even how do we bring value to the client? Because today we bring CPOs, and the conversation needs to be a different conversation where we talk about, okay, how much ROI do I bring to you? You know, let me help you to make more money, and then you pay me for that, right? So you know, it's not enough to just say we need transparency. We need an overall, complete redefining how we bring added value to the client. How is we going to repair us for that? And so,
Talking about outcomes.
yeah.
Oleg, should we be talking more about outcomes?
Absolutely, you're showing where. So we believe in transparency and being transparent with everything that we're doing and how we're doing it. But again, kind of tying back Mac's point about viewability, it's impossible to be 100% transparent about everything. But that's why agencies, unlike a lot of tech companies, actually audited by clients, to make sure that we explain exactly how everything is set up. We abide by the contracts we sign with our clients. And within that, we show exactly where we're transparent, and if we're not transparent, why it is, and why it's impossible to be transparent.
Okay. And Art, I mean, you run the company, so how many conversations, client-driven conversations, come up with touch on this?
Well, when Matt and I started the company 6 years ago, it was a reaction to our prior agency experience. We don't go to market as an agency. We're a programmatic media specialist, and in our conversations with brands and marketers, it's being transparent and full service that unlocks a collaborative relationship with them. So we believe that you have to be fully transparent to really be true to the trusted client relationship you have, but it's more than just being transparent for transparency, trust's sake. Transparency unlocks better solutions. By creating a collaborative relationship, the client has a lot at stake now, more than ever, because of first-party data and the importance of activating that. And so you need an open, transparent dialogue to get the value out of their first-party data into your systems and your solutions that you bring to them. So I think we look at transparency at a higher level for a better outcome for the marketer.
So with the ANA report coming out and a lot of people talking about transparency, we've been wondering if it's possible, just like you would call the bottom of the stock market, if it's possible to call the bottom of the agency-client relationship. Have we reached the bottom, and now we can build from here on back up? So I'm going to go first on this one. I'm calling the bottom. So I'm going to ask yes or no. Is this the bottom? Art.
I'll give you a yes.
Oleg, is this the bottom?
I think we're already on the way up.
All right, good. Hussein.
The same, like Oleg.
Merkel's business is exploding. We are a part of the rebound, benefiting from the bottom.
All right. Paul, are we on the way back up?
Yeah, we're on the way back up. Winners.
That was extremely enthusiastic. All right, so the first word game we're going to play is finish the sentence. Paul, I'm going to start with you. So finish the sentence. You don't have to repeat the sentence, just finish it. The biggest impact of merging MarTech and AdTech on programmatic media trading will be?
The coming together of media, commerce, and CRM.
Mac.
Can you repeat the question?
It's a sentence fragment.
Wait, we didn't rehearse this one, though.
Biggest impact of merging of MarTech and AdTech on programmatic media trading will be...
Oh, yeah, we did that one. Forecasting addressable audiences.
All right. Hussein.
Better planning and better targeting.
All right. Oleg.
New PowerPoint decks.
All right. Go Microsoft.
Marketing nirvana.
All right. The creation of data plans. All right, finish the sentence. The impact of the ANA transparency study on the ad holding companies will be, Paul.
Damaging in the short term, but a wake-up call that will drive a better future relationship.
I like it. Mac.
Felt more so by those companies actually paying the agencies.
Okay, Hussein.
Oh, well, we will have conversations for a time, and we will try to, give the client what he needs and what he wants. So.
All right, Oleg.
Starting new conversations that we actually been dying to have with our clients.
All right, I like that. Art.
Greater Advil sales among holding company execs.
All right, good. Mine is trust but verify policies. All right, here's one. Art, I'll go with you first on this one. If data-driven advertising was a celebrity, who would it be?
Kevin Bacon. Get it?
I get it. Oleg.
Snowden.
Snowden. Oh, wow. All right. Hussein.
Never thought about that. Well, Michael Jackson, very smooth, moonwalking.
Mac.
Kanye West, probably brilliant, but really annoying.
Paul.
Beyonce, constantly delivering hits.
Oh, I like that. All right, my celebrity is Janet Yellen.
I want to hang out with you.
Yeah. Yeah. We got her on the yacht later, yeah. That was like a delayed laugh, yeah. Come on. The consumer experience in advertising is in need of, Paul.
A slap.
A slap, all right, very good. Mac, what do we need to do?
Choke.
Improvement.
Simplification.
Education.
A revolution. Okay, yes or no questions. Paul. The total addressable market for orders, or private deals, is bigger than the total addressable market for auction, yes or no? The market for orders for private deals is bigger than the market for RTB, or auction, yes or no?
Yes.
It still is. Yes.
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 Yep, and a 5.
Yes, all right, the answer is yes. Forecasting audience is going to be the arms race of the future, yes or no? Art, you can start.
No.
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 Not the arms. Important, but no, not the.
Same as that. It's important, but not the arms race.
All right, the answer is yes. You got that wrong. All right.
Follow-up
I
question,
thought we
how?
discussed this before class. I'm terribly upset with all of you. Art will still give you a bedtime story, though. All right. The ad server is a dumb pipe. Yes or no? Paul.
No.
Mac.
I'm going to go yes.
Hussein.
No.
Not anymore.
I got yes.
The answer is yes. Okay. Programmatic is the smart pipe. Paul, yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
No way.
No.
The answer is yes. All right, so we're going to finish with word association. Everybody stay in your seats because as soon as this is over, I have 2 special guests that are going to come on up, and we're just going to keep going for another 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll let you have drinks. Okay. Should I do word association? All right, Paul, Google.
Operating system.
Blackfish.
Giant.
Walled garden.
Caffeinated.
All right, I hope you know my word by now. Diabolical. Facebook, Paul.
Stack deck.
Sophomore.
It's a sophomore. Social people-based marketing nightmare.
All right, that's a violation. That was like a one-word total violation. All right, Oleg.
Blue.
Rosé.
All right, walled garden. All right, Art, I'll start with you on this one. Yahoo.
Tequila.
Let's just keep going. So, yeah.
Scotch.
Vodka.
Casserole.
Sale.
Parts. Snapchat, Paul.
Upstart.
Dark horse.
Trent.
Next.
Naked.
Vertical. Walled garden, Paul.
Self-serving.
Scalable.
Jail.
Unnecessary.
Domination.
Facebook. Paul, point solutions.
Ten a penny.
Needed.
Point solutions.
Targeting.
Targeting. Point solutions.
An element.
One trick pony.
Hundreds. Native advertising. Paul.
Conflicted.
Okay.
Can be improved. Improved.
Necessary.
Seamless.
Automating. Telecom companies. Art, you start.
Sumo wrestlers.
Client.
Interesting data.
You're not short on words, Mac. Come
Yeah,
on.
no, I can't. Can I phone a friend?
You cannot.
I had something so witty too. The bell of the ball.
Telecom companies.
Conflicted.
Okay, last mile. Enterprise software companies. Paul, you want to start?
Coming.
Future.
Next.
Here.
Game of Thrones.
Okay, Mad Tech. Messaging apps. Art.
Game changer.
Next.
Bots.
Future.
Customer service.
Telco. TV automation. Paul.
Tomorrow.
Wanted it yesterday.
Addressable.
A must.
Molasses.
Yes, please. 25-year-old media buyer. Art.
Millennial.
Necessary.
Education.
The boss.
Future boss.
Grizzled ad tech veteran. Paul.
In can.
Well done.
Moderating this panel.
Well done. Go ahead. Hussein, can you beat that?
Education again.
Me.
Cranky.
Consolidated. CMO tenure in 10 years. Art, you want to start?
Data driven.
3 months.
Audience focused.
In control.
CTO.
100 milliseconds. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Say thanks.